Hello and good evening and welcome back once again to your Celtic Supporters Podcast. It's me and Andy alone tonight. Paul is working, Barry's working and Kev should be on very, very quickly. But thank you and welcome everybody for joining us for tonight. And if you are joining us a wee bit later on as well, thank you very much for joining us. You will need to apologise, or I will need to apologise for probably my look and my sound. I am buggered, absolutely buggered going into a weekend as well. But Andy, I'll not complain too much more about that, mate. How are you, son? How are you?
In the words of Kevin Bloody Wilson, I've had an absolute cunt of a day, mate. Friday 13th and all that, just, everything that could go wrong, did go wrong. Absolutely. In fact, saying that, when I drove out of my yard, now, you'll testify to this, that I'm literally fucking just in the house and straight on. Yeah. As I drove out my work yard, that is part of my front spring off my car. Fucking just broke when I came out the yard. So, just when you think things can't get worse, they can. But hopefully the night I'm on, we'll get a right good laugh and it will cheer me up a wee bit.
Yeah, we'll get a good chuckle, we'll get a good debate, we'll get a good bit of rant, because I think there's still a wee bit of rant in me, actually, because I think on Monday when we were on, we didn't quite, certainly I wasn't in full form actually on Monday as well, but I think we'll still be a few things that we'll speak about from Monday, obviously. Kev, Kev, how are you, brother? How are you, son?
Aye, good, mate. Just getting sorted with the wee boy there. Sorry I'm late. Run about here like a madman.
It's the first Friday night we've been to where we've not had a midweek game to kind of go over as well. So it's going to be like a full good morning session, I think there'll be as well. But I think there's a good few things that we'll kind of get stuck into. But first of all, I just wanted to actually say I got a text message just before we come on live there. And obviously, you know that we've got the charity raffle that's going. I will be battering this tonight as well, guys, as well. So don't worry about the how to get a hold of tickets as well. But I spoke to you as well about the reason I did this as well is that our supporters club and Kevin's supporters club usually do like an annual kind of football match. And I just received a text from Frankie McGuinness, who's obviously part of Kevin's mob. And with the money that we've raised and the money that they've raised as well, I think we're looking at probably raising about £1,000 or probably just over £1,000 already. And we've still got a week to go. So thank you very much, guys. Everybody that's reached out to me as well from the community. There's still plenty of time, and I'll give you a wee bit of a nod as well. I've got some more stuff and more prizes to add tonight as well. So it's a fantastic draw, guys, as well. So thank you. I will get into that a wee bit later on as we go. But Andy, we spoke just before we come on there about the first thing I want to get into is Mr. Wilson, Brian Wilson's statement as well. It's like, you went a few days without any word from Celtic, and there was interviews and stuff as well about the emotion of the fans and who was it blaming, stuff like that. And then the statement started to come. So the other mob put their statement out as well, and then we had a video with Jerry McCulloch and Brian Wilson. So I just wanted to kind of open the floor to yourself for that, mate, as well, and let's get stuck into that bit, because I think you were a wee bit, I want to say angry as well, but I had something to say about Mr. Wilson and what he was saying there.
I mean, he has come out and technically defended the Celtic fans, which is good to see. And he did hear more from than anybody else, which is quite good. But the fact that he's come out and made a statement and no even mentioned the fact that a member of the Celtic backroom staff was physically assaulted on the field of play for somebody that's ran onto the park, not even a mention of it, is really, really surprising. Now he came out with a comment saying that, he's got to wait to, the full inquiry, full evidence is put out there before they really pick the bones at it. The evidence is there. It was live on TV. You could see it. The guy rolling about the ground with him. So the fact that they've not mentioned that is quite concerning. And not just that particular incident, but incidents that have happened in the past at that same stadium concerning the same fans. You could get into Scott Brown getting assaulted off a fan that ran on the park, bottles, lighters, batteries getting thrown onto the park. Another member of the backroom staff actually getting hit by a missile and getting scarred for life through it as well. These instances are continually going on and on. and you don't really hear Celtic saying much about it, apart from, you know, the fans were obviously excited about the result and winning the game, which is fair dues, but you expect your club to back you up, and I'm actually really surprised they come out and done that, because, you know, it's very unlike Celtic to back their own fans. So, yep, I think there's obviously still a lot more to come out about it, but we know, I mean, you were at the game, Hoggy, you know, and the video that you shared is actually in the area where you were right there. Now, these other people that come on for just the corner you were at, aren't they Union Bears? These are, I mean, one of the guys was totally white-haired, you know, so he was in his 60s, running out of Celtic fans to go ahead. This is all going to come out as well. I understand fans shouldn't go in the park, but they are absolute thugs, and there's no excuse for it. In fact, I'll say one more thing before I just pass it on to Kev. I watched a bit of the Rangers Raffle, right? My pal Martin. And he says the one thing that disgusts him more than anything else is the graffiti written on a wall. That's what disgusts him more than what the fans are doing on the park. Now, I'm not into all that pishy fucking slagging, you know, disasters and all that. It's just something I wouldn't do. But it's a guy with a pen, right? Now, if we're going to put priority or make that out to be worse than a Polish woman getting assaulted, a steward getting absolutely knocked out, a Celtic staff member getting physically handled and assaulted on the park, where there's got to be a number of players involved. I mean, Svanchara had the bloodstains on his tap. We try to intervene. And then you're getting fireworks fired into the crowd as well. The fact that none of this is mentioned, I think, is a serious cop-out. Honestly.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's me. Done.
No, it's fair points, Andy. It's fair points. And one thing I was kind of interested in this week to see, obviously we kind of reacted to it on Monday, and I say I think we're a wee bit worse for wear on Monday as well with some of the stuff we were kind of talking about in opinions, but you were waiting to see what those statements actually were from both clubs, because the Polish came out very quickly, Kevin, and said their part as well, and I think the Lassie, they've kind of backtracked a wee bit, I think, from what I'm picking up for them as well, about them saying that one set of fans was kind of dealing with euphoria, one set of fans was dealing with, I'll get fucking torn into yous. There was a couple of things that I seen, Kevin, where, like, they're saying as well, that, listen, no fans should be on the park. Let's be honest as well. If you're talking about a kind of clean game of no incident as well, then no fans should be on the park. But for you, there is a clear difference that you can see there as well of the intent of what happened there. So what's your take, mate? Obviously, we had a good chance to speak about it on Monday, but what's your take on the whole nonsense, and then bring in Mr. Wilson's statement into that, please? Right,
well, first and foremost, fans shouldn't be going on the park, right? But it's euphoria, and it happens. For their reaction to it was absolutely abysmal. The reaction for them at the other side was abysmal, but we shouldn't have been on in the first place. So that's what I'll say about that. Secondly, what I'll say about that is 10 minutes before the final whistle of any game at Celtic Park, their place is yellow with stewards around that stadium. Not so much police, but there is a big large police presence down in the corner underneath the control room where the away fans are. When you go to Hampden, there's a huge steward and policing presence as well. But for what I seen in the television pictures the other day there, that was seriously lacking there. So yes, fans shouldn't be on the park. It was euphoria. It wasn't on the park to fight. There might have been a bit of golden, stupid, silly, but their reaction to try and come the full length for the park was just absolutely silly. Causing damage to stadiums. Stupid. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit for the last week and take lessons in morality after that mob, for a start. Yeah. Right? As for Brian Wilson, Brian Wilson's statement was, I would put it in the good category, but not good enough. Because, without repeating what Andy said, Andy's spot on about the instances of safety of our staff and our players. And previously, we've had ex-players who are now in the media and can't go and do the game because they can't guarantee safety. So that's sort of where I am with it.
Kevin, can I ask you something? So one thing I'm trying to kind of fix the lights here as well. I'm not getting the light quite right. The one thing I wanted to kind of say is was there an expectation in your head as well that somebody would have come out from either probably the kind of operating board, I would say maybe more, which is like your Michael Nicholson, your Mark Hargreaves. Would you have expected Hargreaves to have any sort of words about this, given the fact that his position at Celtic is the head of kind of safety and all that type of shit? Surely we should have had something for him. And why do you think the absence of his words or his kind of statement on that is there?
Well, he's probably quite a smart man and knows the truth, but he's not wanting to come out and stick the boot into his ex-colleagues. Simple as that.
So do you think that's what it is? The fact that
100%. 100%. Hoggy, it's plain to see in black and white at Celtic Park there is a mountain of stewards, and then the coppers don't come out and go around the park, but there's a stack of stewards every game. There has been for seasons, because we've not had big invasions, but we have had instances, and most of the time it's kids, to be honest. But to try to see if they can maybe chance their luck at getting an odd day at a game, and some of the European games where you sort of it's a bit more high profile and you have clamped down in it. So for years, 10-15 minutes to go, you see the stewards coming out and going right round the full stadium. You go to Hampden, there's a big line. Now, when we've been winning some of the trebles and quadruples, the boys at the front, and I'm not going to say it's the boys or say it's the Green Brigade, because I don't know that for a fact, but at the front where they usually sort of are, there has been guys out onto that trackway, but they've got that 20 or 30 yards, the big line's already been there, the stewards and police, and then when they've sort of encouraged them to come back half again, and the line of police and stewards have started walking forward, they have come back half again, so that the presentations in that can go on. To me, that was a cost-cutting exercise with that mob last week on police and stewarding, and it come back and bit them in the arse big time. And their statement is just deflection.
So Andy,
mere deflection.
On this, I don't want to say statement wars as such as well, but Kevin kind of rolled onto a point there where I think the statement, first of all, you seen was for the other side, and they came out and they were saying as well about it's abhorrent as well, and they don't stand for any of that shite, and they'll do investigations and stuff as well. But the fact is the point that they stuck on as well was the Ibrox disaster thing, and the fact that people were desecrating the memories of all those people that's in there. But see, again, and I don't want to get into that whole, but they did this, but we did that, but they did this as well. You're in there a stadium as well where they've basically done nothing but sang all day as well, but been up to their knees in blood and singing all this kind of stuff as well. So,
but that's just a song.
Of course, it's just a song as well, but somebody wrote something down. All they've wrote is a couple of numbers or a couple of words as well, if you want to kind of defend it that way too. But what's your take on, first of all, I think they struck first with the whole kind of statement as well. Were you kind of looking at it thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? Because you're kind of glossing over the fact that you've got people who are going to get done for assault. You've got people as well who's basically kind of encroaching on the game in mass numbers. You've got people attacking fucking Celtic stewards, Celtic fans and stuff, but you're basically wanting to say there that, but they did this, they did that, they wrote this stuff on that thing. Is that just, you think that's them basically just kind of getting in early, sinking the boot in as well for something that might be looked upon as more important than just battling somebody?
See, the thing is, when there was a takeover and people were saying this opportunity to really clean the slate and try and clean the club up and get rid of all this nonsense that goes along with that mob, and to me, with their statement, they've absolutely no intention of doing that. They're just going along with the masses. They're just going to back game up 100%. Just touching on the fact that people have brought up that why are they allowed in with masks on in the stadium? Let me remind you that these are Huns, by the way. So that mask is better than what's underneath it, So you ask them to take that mask off, that ain't a good sight. So I've got nothing against them wearing masks. And they should all need to wear them. It should be a must. I'm going to get back to the statement, but also I just noticed something in the comments, and I'd noticed a clip for STV News who'd reported the broken seats in the Broomlawn, and it actually wasn't, it was a home section, it was a UB section.
Yep.
You could see the scaffolding there. So, again, journalists who are trying to push a narrative and not actually doing their proper research here, try to badmouth us. I'm not saying there wasn't broken seats, but come on, that's their own home fans breaking their own seats. So, on that, touching on the graffiti, that was after the fact, right? I'm not saying it's right, but that was after the fact. No, it's not as if they knew about that and that's why they invaded the field. It's absolutely no. So, they're trying to make that part of the issue as to kind of why they come on the park and try to make it as an excuse. I'm just not having that at all. So, look, they had an opportunity to kind of, well, what's going to happen? Are they going to ban their own fans? Are we going to see and by the way, what did the Green Brigade have done? It's got absolutely fucking nothing on what they've done, and not just on Sunday, but in the past as well. So, are they going to take action against their own fans, starting with their ultras, but also put out something that they're not going to put up with that type of behaviour at their stadium? Because we've already said that, Brian Wilson mentioned it today. Celtic fans, when they're getting a season book, they're under with the information given to them as a season book holder that you need to, go by whatever rules the club say, okay? They just don't seem to live to any rules at all. They don't stick to any rules. They just do what they want. I think they've got to do something with their own fans 100%. Because see if something doesn't. I mean, it's just going to continue, Hoggy. Again, we could have a full sheet with amount of incidents that have happened at their stadium to our fans, to our players, to our backroom staff. It's just absolutely disgusting.
Listen, Andy, as you say, the big thing where it is right. You get the damage that's been happening to Celtic Park and Ibrox for years with some dumplings, the opposition fans, and you do get a bit of boxing in the streets from time to time, and I'm not saying that's right either, but these are things that's part and parcel. But when you're trying to narrow this down to the weekend, if you're wanting to narrow this down to the weekend and take all three parties into account, Celtic, Rangers, and then the police, see if you're going to point a finger at one person in this whole thing, it's Rangers and the coppers for the lack of security. Because, as I've said twice in the show, and I'll say it for the last time, if it was stewarded and policed the way it was at Parkhead in Hampden, that doesn't happen. Simples.
Yeah, it's Fernandes just asking Hoggy about the script entering the Broomlawn. It was fucking horrible. It was horrible. You're kind of all kind of squashed into one street in there as well. They're putting 7,500 people through a turnstile, basically through a gate first of all that they'd funneled down as well. So the full gate's open, but then you've got the post and that as well, kind of funneling everybody down there. 7,500 people going through that entrance there as well, which is designed for maximum 2,500. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was lucky nothing really happened there. And then when you get to the actual turnstiles as well, that was fucking bogging as well. I'm kind of sick of talking.
Okay. The police were asked about this. It's somebody, I don't know who it was asking the police about should they need to look into the way the tickets are distributed. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck's that got to do with it? Now, what's that got to do with the fans getting in? Like, now you testify to this, there was probably maybe 2 or 3 checks on tickets before they actually go to the turnstile. Now, they keep going on about this, the fact that fans have barged through turnstiles at a fucking exit gate or whatever it is. What is that got to do with how Celtic put their tickets out? It's got absolutely nothing to do with it. If they've let fans up towards the turnstiles that shouldn't be there without a ticket, that's on them.
Yeah.
That's on it. For many years, fans have climbed their fucking walls and all sorts. You see them in the 80s hanging off of pylons and all the rest of it, you know, climbing their walls to get fans are going to try and get into a stadium. That's their job. Their job is to secure and make that safe for the fans. So that is on them as well. I'm not condoning the fact that somebody's got to storm a turnstile, because that is no safe. And you end up with overcrowding, and obviously all the stairwells are filled up. But the fact that they're putting it onto the club as well, saying it's down to the way they're putting their tickets out, it's just absolute deflection again. You know, they're not taking responsibility.
It's nonsense, but it's one of the things I think that it could rumble on, but it's I think Manny said it earlier on as well. It's got to be a tit for tat thing as well, because we know that after the split as well, you're going to have 2,500 Rangers fans that's coming here. And it's not our job to actually distribute the tickets. We give them to Rangers and they do what the fuck they want to them. So, but you can guarantee as well that they will be making sure as well that all of those ultra groups and stuff like that as well will be represented within that. And again, you're getting back to that kind of more segregation stuff as well. You're going to get them in the stadium 2 hours before kick-off. They're going to be absolutely doing all sorts to that stadium, depending on what the result is. Because I can mind one game that we played them and we horsed them. And I'd kind of left a wee bit earlier as well to get in, and I went round the other end. But I was trying to get back to the bus, and the police had blocked it all off. So every way that I could get back to the bus behind the Emirates was all blocked off. Because they were going after fucking nut in the stadium as well. And the police made the decision to let them out or let some of them out because it was safer for them. I'm like, but what about all the fucking one of us that's in the street? So every way that I could get back to my bus as well, they'd all blocked off. So you're going to then have this bigger police presence and bigger kind of focus on it. And again, I just think, again, it's a powder keg for something else happening, because you're going to get heavier-handed stewarding, heavier-handed in policing.
That's just going to antagonise people.
You'll get 100%. If they're back into the stadium for the last derby at Celtic Park, there is going to be trouble. 100% there's going to be trouble. I've said this in the past many a times. In fact, when Paddy was on his mind, and I'd gladly no see them in our stadium ever again. They are absolute scumbags. And let's not forget, they trash toilets and seats and all the rest of it every time they're at Celtic Park. No matter if there's 700 or 7,000, it's always happened, because there was that agreement that, well, we'll just pay for each other's damage, you know. And then it got to a point, well, you're not actually paying, because by the time you pay that damage, they owe you that. So it's just a case of just fix the seats and that's it. It was a kind of unsigned agreement, because they knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. I think Ryan's point here as well was saying, like, before the game as well, they marched Paisley Road West and they were firing all sorts as well. And again, they were basically just being jogged along basically as well. They weren't being kind of kettled in anywhere as well. But then the police approach to the 7,500 Celtic fans as well was bottleneck is in there, and then stop it. So bottleneck, and it's not as if it was a trickle. They then stopped letting people in. And then you're getting the pressure of mere Celtic fans joining this fucking parade. The parade as well, but kind of all the fans that's there, and it's just making it worse as well. But it's, again, I could go on all night as well and complain as well, but I just think it's one of the ones that you know what, see that what happened there as well with the posts and stuff. It's a fucking been a constant problem in our game, in our country, and it ain't going to be fixed by what's been brought up there. But far from it, absolutely far from it. It'll get worse before it gets better. It'll get fucking worse before it gets better.
They get beaten, they couldn't handle it, and that's the end of it.
You think they'd be fucking used to it by now, Kev? I mean,
that is the long and short of it. But don't get us wrong. I mean, I did enjoy it. I just seen he scored that penalty, but and all the Celtic players ran towards Ventura. Apart from Herrero, he just turned went another way and just swung for that crossbar, man. I was high on it. But I said a wee back, and I've been going to Ibrox for I was a teen, not I mean, and in my 50s now. And when it went to 46 quid back, however many years ago it was, I said, that's me done. I'm not going back there again. I'm not getting that money. And I've had numerous chances for tickets, including the weekend, over the years, and I've knocked them back for just about nice games. And I'm sticking to my guns. I'm not going back. But what I did say was, see, when we were plummeling them left, right and centre every time we turn up, and we were hammering them, Ibrox as well. When they spat the dummy on the ticket situation. I said back then, right for the get-go, that Celtic should have turned around and told them then, no, it's the norm, it's a full stand or nothing. And see, when they turned around and said, you're not getting a full stand, Celtic should have just turned around and told them then, well, that's it, no more away tickets. That's that done. You aren't getting a ticket for Celtic Park. We're quite happy not to take out for Ibrox. I said that then, and I've maintained it all the way through. It should have been all or nothing, and that was it. Not that that's got anything to do with the other day, it hasn't it? But I'm just talking in general. I've said that for the get-go.
Again, I think we'll always have people, Kevin, that's got those opinions, and going back to 8 years ago when that decision was made, it should be all or nothing as well. Absolutely, it should be. But
we never had all this kettling hoggy and all these filters back in the day either. Putting about 7,500 going down all the time.
I know.
You had obviously your segregation at the corner, and then see when you were walking along the main road, they were on the other side of it. It was just a big line of posts standing in the middle of the road. Yeah. And I went up and down to God knows how many Celtic and Rangers games there over the years, and got a bit of shouting, but that was about it. I mean, you didn't need all these barriers and triple checks and all the rest of it. I mean, fucking nonsense.
What I'm going to do is just leave that there then as well, because I want to show you, actually it's on the photo here as well. So as you know, guys, we've been certainly kind of flying the flag for charity over the last couple of weeks, and we're doing the charity raffle, which will take place on next Friday's show at 7:30 next Friday. But as I said, we got some really, really good news. I got a text message beforehand as well, which basically means that we're going to probably breach the £1,000 mark raised even before we get into Saturday. So fantastic effort for everybody as well that's helped us there. But I just wanted to give a few wee thanks out, because I was with Martin Morell today, and Martin has kindly donated for us the View LP, so it's vinyl, and so that's like the album, and then you've got individual singles. I'm not a vinyl man by any means, but you've got different colours for all the singles that's there as well. So that will form one of the prizes that we've got there. And your man Typhoon McFlustery, the best name on the fucking in the community, Typhoon has kindly donated to us a signed Alistair Johnson top, which is there. So I'm going to go and pick that up off of Typhoon at the start of the week. But that's another couple of prizes as well that's going to be added to the prizes that we've already said there for you. We've got some retro tops. We've got the Celtic sign top. We've got the Negrin painting. We've got the Larson wall art. We've got the prints. Still trying to get KT's signature on the top. And bobble hat. And hopefully some
This is a raffle. This is a raffle at Raffles, by the way. Some of the stuff.
The mother of all raffles.
Yeah. I've also got a guy called Ryan the Painter, and this is Martin Morell, so thank you very much, Martin, for helping us. Ryan the Painter's done some artwork for some really, really kind of famous bands, I think Oasis included. He's done some art pieces as well for kind of Hollywood stars and stuff, and he's actually going to be donating an art piece to us, which looks a bit funky. It looks a good one. So hopefully I'll have some images of that for maybe Monday. To show you what we've got there as well. So there's fantastic prizes that we've got there, guys. So if you've not already and you want to reach out and basically give us a wee hand with shooting this well over the £1,000 mark, guys, give us a wee email into the show. I'll just run it across the bottom. So buy a raffle ticket there as well. Send us a wee email at cspodcast2025@gmail.com, or text me. If you've got my number, text me and I'll tell you the details of that. Let us know how many tickets you're wanting, stick the money in. I'll send you pictures of tickets. I've got a pile of raffle tickets that I've already written out here. They're sitting ready to go, and I will be writing out fucking Hunters Mare tomorrow, given what we've got off of Frankie there as well. So guys, just wanted to say a huge thank you to everybody that's taken part, everybody that's spread the word for it, everybody that's bought some tickets. We are hoping to get much more in this last week as well, but thank you very much for everything, for where we are just now. Kevin, did you see anything of Martin O'Neill's statement today, or Martin O'Neill's press conference today at all?
I get a very small snippet just saying that he was quite busy at work. Got a very small snippet, just the part where he said that they were entitled to their tickets for the game after the split, and he fully expects them to get it. It's the only thing I heard.
That was exactly the bit I was going to bring it into.
I'd give them nothing.
Andy, are you of the opinion then, the same as Kevin, that based on what happened last week as well, give them absolutely fucking nothing?
Aye, I mean, I said it even before this. I wouldn't have them in their stadium before this actually happened. But I guarantee you, that any amount that they are in their stadium, they are going to cause trouble. There is going to be serious trouble. They are going to cause damage, and they're going to try and fight and do whatever they do, whatever they like to do. So I wouldn't give them anything. And honestly, I think I can understand people want to go to these games, right? We've all been there. We all know what it's like, and there's nothing better than fucking smashing them and beating them in their own stadium. Absolutely nothing better than it. But just they don't deserve tickets. They simply don't deserve. They don't deserve to be in our stadium. So I wouldn't have them anywhere near Celtic Park ever again, ever.
There's two. I'm in two minds with it as well, because there's the passionate Celtic one as well, which is like fuck them, absolutely fuck them as well. But then there's that bit of the people that do like to go into enemy territory, the people that have kind of gone home and away all the time for Celtic would potentially be in there as well. So in my thinking as well, you still got to have some sort of away presence in there, and I think that with Martin O'Neill's statement there saying as well that it's probably expected that they will be in here with 2,500. I think it is that they'll be reciprocated there. It'll be interesting. It will make it much of a more of a powder keg game as well. And I dare say, in the time that comes, because I think that'll be one of the first games of the split. That could be the day. That could be the day as well that absolutely properly kills them after the title race as well. So
they will get the allocation they're entitled to, Hoggy. They will get the allocation they're entitled to.
Yeah.
And I think the Celtic board will give them it. The reason I think they'll give them it is to sort of probably just to make it fair based on what the agreement's been. But it wouldn't surprise me then after that game then that if the board then just said, "No, taboo, that's it. You're getting nothing, and we'll have nothing nearby." But I do think that they'll get their allocation for this game.
Hoggy, I think the police are going to have a big say in this. Where the fans are going to be back in each other's stadiums. I think they'll be insistent that there's going to be a certain amount of police that are at the games and no relying on stewards. And what Kev's already touched on it. They've actually highlighted that it's been down to cost. It's obviously cheaper to employ a steward to stand there than a police, but I think they will have a big say. And well, on safety grounds, for this to happen, then there's going to have to be a certain amount of police involved to cover the stewards, because they're simply nothing against the guys that are doing the stewarding and all that. They're not going to get involved in all this carry on. So what's the point in having them there? So they would need to up the game when it comes to the amount of police at these games.
Yeah, aye. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out anyway. It'll be very, very interesting. Now, another thing that Martin O'Neill spoke about today was the Green Brigade, Andy. And one is the kind of thing that he said, and I'm not too sure, again, we kind of tried to give Paul a wee shout as well, and Paul's working on it as well, but Paul wasn't too sure himself. He said it would be great if the Green Brigade could be back in for Saturday's game, stressing the sooner they get it sorted, it would be fantastic. But he mentioned as well that he hopes that they'll be in for the run-in, and that he hopes that they will be able to agree to the terms that had been put out to them. Now, again, I think we spoke about it before, just with Kimon as well. The terms that he's speaking about, I think, is from the SAG, which is the Safety Advisory Group, and Police Scotland. It's a very, very strange one, though, because it was basically Celtic that did the ban in the first place. So it's like, I'm just wondering as well, how the fuck can an outside Safety Advisory Group for the council of it is probably going to be? And
it's because it's a standing section, so certificates are put down for that standing section, and certain conditions have got to be met. Now, all Celtic need to do to get round about this is bypass the Safety Advisory Group, is by bolting the seats down. It's no longer a standing section. There's your seats. Now, they're all going to stand anyway, because a lot of fans do stand.
Yeah.
Now, what jurisdiction, if they go to our Celtic under stadium, if their seats are bolted down, it's a seated part of the stadium. So there isn't really any separate safety certificate required, surely. So if Celtic are really adamant that they need or want the GB back in, bolt the seats down so they can't be lifted. It's no longer a standing section.
You need to do it for European games, don't they?
But I don't think it was. I don't think it was just the just about the standing element of it. I think there was certain. I think they're talking about the conditions.
Okay, that's the only jurisdiction they've got to that section is because it's seen as a safe standing area. That's the only difference for the other seats in the stadium is the fact that these seats can be bolted up and they've got the barriers there in front of each kind of row.
I think they're involved. That you're right because it is that area. But I think for some of the stuff, and again, please guys, if anybody knows more about this as well, then let us know in the comments and we'll bring it up. But I think it's more about the almost an assurance from the Green Brigade or from the North Curve that they won't basically be doing any of the stuff they've done before, and whether that is trying to intimidate players or stewards as well, or video and stuff like that as well. So that's how I'm saying I don't know about this stuff as well, but I just wonder if anybody in the community or in the comments as well knows exactly what those conditions are, because it seems from Celtic ends anyway, or Celtic's end anyway, that they've basically given some sort of way in for the Green Brigade. Kevin, yourself, mate, are you any of the wiser at all about the Green Brigade situation?
No, the only thing I noticed was Brian Wilson had mentioned in that wee interview with Jerry McCaw about showing a certain level of respect towards the police and the stewards, but nothing else. Nothing else towards it apart from that. But I did hear him mention, because I did think to myself, did I hear that correctly? And I rewound it back again, and he did say that was one of the sort of a conditions that was underlying as well. But whether it's apart from that, I don't really know nothing else. But once we move on, I'm going to pick up on something that just flashed up on my phone on one of my chats about Casper Schmeichel. Once we're finished on the
he's on the agenda for speaking tonight as well, Kevin. So let's
have you seen it?
Take it away, mate. Take it away.
No, obviously I never got on just before the start to just sort of go through the agenda and that, but I just seen this statement for Schmeichel saying that he took another turn with his shoulder the Stuttgart game, and it basically, why he stayed on I don't know, but basically it done his shoulder in, and the only way to get anything sorted is that they're saying the specialists have basically said that he needs minimum 4 to 6 weeks recovery to even get a chance. So I think that's his day's number in this Celtic jersey.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Mark O'Neill said about him that he's much better and had trained today. And the fact that he's saying he's much better and trained today is one of the things as well. Does that mean that he's not trained the rest of the week? He said you'll have a look at him to see if he'll make the match day squad. Now, I think for the 3 years, I think the 3 years could absolutely 100% say we're all in agreement with the fact that Sinisalo's jersey, it's his to the end of the season now. Absolutely. Do you see, Kevin, Martin O'Neill putting Schmeichel back in at all? If he does prove that he is fit, do you think that he'll put Schmeichel back in, or do you think he'll run with Sinisalo?
I think he'll run with Sinisalo now. I think he will. Big man's proved himself now that he's had a couple of games under his belt and had a chance to get a wee bit more comfortable. And I don't think he'll take him out.
Andy, would be yourself, mate?
No, I can't see him. I think he's done. I think he's done at Celtic, to be quite honest with you. You know, that's even if he was to get a contract for another year, he's not going to be the goalkeeper at Celtic, especially if this gets his shoulder repaired and recovers for it. It's always going to be an issue. I think, you know, I think his career's over. Certainly at Celtic anyway. I can't really see him going anywhere else. So, and again, even if he was fit, I don't think he's take his shoulder out. Yeah, I don't think he's been good enough to you know, he's cost us a lot of goals with silly stuff. And it wouldn't be great for Sinisalo if he's pulled out the team when he's doing so well, you know. So I think that's his turn now. It's up to him to, you know, be consistent and show why he should be number one, Sinisalo.
Yeah. Well, it was brought in quite a bit of fanfare, Andy, and I don't want to talk about Sinisalo too much as well, but kind of getting back to Schmeichel. But the young lad that was brought in a bit of fanfare, and he was kind of looked upon as the successor to Kasper Schmeichel. We'll not talk about it too much tonight, but it's something I do want for us to speak about probably when the season's done, and we'll do a wee bit of kind of wrapping up, and we'll look at kind of impact of players and stuff. But it's, if you look at the last few goalkeepers that we've had, and the kind of obviously the immediate previous one was Joe Hart, who had a fantastic relationship with the fans. Some would question some parts of his game as well, but somebody who went out every single time as well and gave everything for Celtic. The one thing I'm seeing a lot of people with Kasper Schmeichel the new as well is that his performances have led people to question his ability, but it just seems as if there's a wee bit of friction between him and the fans at times as well. Now, where I sit as well, I don't know if this is something across the park or across the stadium, but certainly there's a song that they're singing as well, which I think is Michael Out, or Michael Get to Fuck, and I think they're talking about Michael Nicholson. But I've seen a reaction as well for somebody, and for Schmeichel as well, that it does sound like Schmeichel Get to Fuck. Now, I don't think anybody or any Celtic fans, and if they did, they should be absolutely pulled up and challenged about it. But any group of Celtic fans singing a song as well for a player like to get to fuck. But it's just
I've sung it, Hoggy. I've not sung it in the stadium, but I've sang it in the house.
I think we've all had our own opinions on it, mate, as well. But do you think that there is a kind of bit of niggle between Kasper and the fans, that he's seeing that he's getting a bit of stick off of people, and maybe not had that in his career so far? He's maybe not had that fans are kind of or he's been held up to a standard that he's not quite reaching. But do you see that there is a wee bit of niggle between them there?
Aye, definitely. I've said it in the past, you know, with the couple of instances where the ball's getting thrown on the park and he looks as if he's taking a hissy fit, you know, shaking his head, looking at the fans, kicking the ball away in anger. And, you know, has he been at a club like Celtic before, where, you know, that the pressure that comes for it, with the fan base that we have got, the passion that we have got? I don't think he has. I don't think he really gets it. I think Joe Hart got it. I don't think Joe Hart was a great keeper, but he certainly got it. I mean, he was at the game at the weekend there, you know, so that's the impression that Celtic have left on him. The fact that he still always talks well about Celtic. I just don't get that impression for Kasper. I think they're very, very different personalities when it comes to, you know, how they feel about the club.
I think Kevin, and one of the things that was the comment that's up there as well for Mr. Officer Feelgood, it was really good last season. I think Schmeichel has been fantastic for Celtic at certain times as well. He's been really, really good. He's saved us in a lot of games as well, but there has been that fall off the cliff.
But Hoggy, that's the reason why he was in this season again. You know, I think they were thinking maybe if we get a year out of him, Sinisalo's there, you know, and he can come in. But because he did do so well last season, I think they've went, got to go with him again. Yeah. You know, and then you've got obviously the change of managers 3 times. Yeah. So they're kind of, maybe I should just stick with, you know, the tried and tested one rather than trying, you know, so there's that aspect as well. Yep.
Yeah. See, I think another thing, Hoggy, as well, is that with Schmeichel and with Joe Hart as well, that I think Schmeichel, and I may be wrong, but to me, Schmeichel just, I think he sees it purely as a job. Joe Hart bought right into the club, and because of that, the fans bought into Joe Hart, and I think that got Joe Hart an extra season too. Mm-hmm. But Joe Hart knew himself, pardon the pun, in his heart of hearts, that he was starting to go down the way, and he went when the going was good when it was just starting to dip. Whereas I think Big Kasper hasn't just sort of bought into the Celtic thing the same way, and he's been a season too long.
You see, I don't quite agree with that, Kevin, and it's no a kind of like a massive disagreement with what you're saying, but I think he had bought into it, but I think they're just 2 different personalities. I think Joe Hart's very much more more a kind of a Celtic type person, whereas Casper, I think, as well, with his ego and his kind of own way he is. There was some interviews as well that I kind of looked at and thought, actually, he gets it. But it's just the fact that as soon as he's challenged, you kind of see the true people there as well. That it's that whole kind of thing. I can put a face on as well, but see if you put pressure on me and see if you do that.
Yeah.
Remember, as we say, you always go back to type. Everything your reaction is will go back to type. It goes back to what you actually are there. But it'll be interesting. I think we definitely know with his injuries and stuff that absolutely not a fucking hell's chance should anybody begin into any game this season for the rest of the season carrying an injury, especially a goalkeeper. Because I think in certain instances you've seen the way that he's diving, the way that he's kind of putting himself about, that there's clearly something that's been up with him. So I think we're all in agreement as well. It's Mr. Sinisalo got the gloves to the end of the season.
Yep.
But see if you're struggling like that, Hoggy, see if you're a true professional, you should be putting your buns up and saying to the manager, I'm not the best man for this job now because I'm not 100%. I can't give you everything. I don't have it.
I get that, but again, you could flip that round about and say there's many people and ask if you to go, I suppose, and ask the 11 people that's going to start tomorrow, are you 100% fit and fresh and painless? I guarantee you as well, probably more than half of them will say, no, I've got a wee something, I've got sore toes, I've got sore this. Everybody will play with a bit of pain, I think, Kevin, but I think this is where it is. It's like, is that pain going to be detrimental that will affect his performance? Or does he think as well, fuck pain, I'm going to give everything for this club now, let me at it?
But see, what I would say to that is see, as an outfield player, sometimes you can carry somebody that's struggling a wee bit. See, when you're a keeper, it's you, yourself, and I, and you're Jack Jones. There's nobody to carry you. So you need to be 100%.
Yeah, but again, he might be beginning there and thinking as well. It's sore. It's a bit of pain as well. But I'll be fine. Again, we're not going to get into certain.
No, but it did. You could clearly see it affected him. What the way he was diving and half the time no diving and other times going down in instalments. There was clearly fucking issues there. You know what I mean?
Is that the injury or is that just his body in general as well? But again, that I suppose that kind of plays into the bigger picture as well. But talking injuries as well, Martin gave us a wee bit of an update on Callum McGregor, and I think it's a positive one that he'll be back in training next week. Now, if you're back in training next week as well, do you think that that's going to be enough that he'll be in there for the weekends or the fixture at the weekend, which I think it's the Dundee United? Kevin, do you think McGregor comes back in and straight in the team?
Only if he's 100%. We're good enough to be beating these teams without Callum McGregor. But he's your captain and I'm talking my team all the time. But don't rush him back now for a game that could potentially put him out for 5 or 6. See if he needs to miss Dundee United to be 100% for the next game, then just leave him out the Dundee United game then. Simple.
That's what I would say, because Dundee United and then you've got the breaks, the Scotland games in between that, and then we're away to Dundee on the start of April. So you've got that natural kind of bit that not just for Callum McGregor, but for everybody else as well. You've got 2 games before that week kind of spell that you've got a bit of time. And the good thing with Callum, obviously, is he ended his Scotland journey, so he's no one that's going to be in kind of Scotland stuff. But it's something that
we've not got midweek games now either, Hog, you know what I mean? I know. Everybody else is getting their time to recover, so there shouldn't be needs to be rushing them back, you know what I mean? Rio's starting to perform again, you know what I mean?
Right, but there shouldn't be, but the question I'm going to point to as well is that it shouldn't be, right? We shouldn't have to rush anybody back. Now, the guy's our captain. If he's fit, he plays. Absolutely. But what you're looking for is somebody to be stepping up there, Andy, as well, to say, right, if the captain's in, and then I'm getting in there and I'm going to make that position.
But who?
And that's the question I'm going to say to you.
Aye.
Is that McGowan went in there at the weekend as well. And maybe was to everybody's tea. You brought in somebody in Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain who we've seen as well, the two of them kind of don't fit as well. But is that the natural person that sits in that defensive midfield position as well for Callum and give him the time he's needing for Ox to then show why we brought him up there, show his class, and basically then can he put that across, Andy?
I would definitely go with the Ox in there to replace Callum. It's certainly no McKinnon, no for me. Listen, against Motherwell, they'd actually get quite a good midfield. You know, they work it well.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a kind of box, kind of with they're playing. It's got to be very difficult, I think. Look, that's a big decision that Martin's got to make to try and combat them, because they shift the ball about very well. So maybe the pace of Hawks is maybe going to go against them. I don't know. Obviously, Trusty's out, so you've not got that kind of pace in the defence either. To back up the sitting midfielder, you've got Bernardo as well. We could maybe play that, or you could even put the two of them together. You know, you could put it like a kind of a 4-2-3-1 kind of formation, just as a wee bit more backup in the midfield, which I think we're going to need against Motherwell, is a kind of a beefed up midfield bodies there. So I think the natural one is the Hawks. And then it's just, I don't even know if Bernardo is the right kind of player to come in there either, but we've not got a lot to choose for, obviously, with injuries and we've not got a great bench.
We've no defensively, obviously, we're going to be struggling tomorrow, but obviously Trusty's not going to be there. And there was a comment that I'd said, and we spoke about this before. Austin Trusty, I think, in a Celtic jersey, has performed best when it's siege mentality defending, when it's proper backs to the wall defending. If you give him the ball too much as well, or give him time, same with Scales, if you give him too much time and opportunity, they'll make mistakes themselves. They'll create opportunities for them to make mistakes. But that's other teams. It's almost kind of lulling them into that kind of the hole there. But midfield, we do have different names on there as well. And one of the questions that I was talking to a guy on Sunday about was, what the fuck has happened, Kevin, to Bernardo? Paulo Bernardo as well was somebody, and we spoke about it before on the podcast. Is he somebody that you would be thinking that he's got a part to play in this run-in for Celtic to hopefully claim back those points and win the league? He got a part to play, you think?
I think he's got a big part to play. So he has, especially if McGregor and Engels are going to out with injury now as well. You know what I mean? Because you look at your midfield tomorrow. I mean, you've got Hatate, Ox, Bernardo, Nygren. Who are you picking? Who are you playing with them? Who is your three going to be?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be Hatate, Nygren. Who's going to be the other one? Is it going to be Oxlade-Chamberlain? Is it going to be Bernardo? Is Chamberlain better coming off the bench because he's no fitter? You better getting an hour out of him and then getting him off.
Yeah. And I think the way that we've got to consider, I think, for tomorrow, we'll get into that a wee bit, maybe just in 10 minutes or something.
But he's definitely, to answer your question, he's definitely got a part to play, because we two of our mainstays all season, Engels and McGregor, are out the new. I mean,
well, that's an interesting one there. I'm going to bring this one because I think one thing that I've seen as well is Engels is getting love when he's not doing anything, but when he's doing something as well, he's getting a lot of shit. Andy, so it was something I think somebody had said, you don't realise what you've got until it's gone. And I think with Engels, where a lot of people were questioning him as well, the fucking money was spent on him as well, not getting a turn at him. But I think now, kind of seeing that as well, that people that can actually identify what his place is in that team and what he actually brings to Celtic. So where are you in the Engels thing as well? Were you something as well that if he's back trained, I've seen that somebody's saying he's back trained in there. If he is fit and ready, then he comes back in and plays. Does he come back in and play first 11 for you?
I'm not sure about that, if it's maybe still a wee bit too soon for him or no. But I think if Martin feels that he can do that job, then absolutely he's got to be in there. Even put him on the bench and bring him on later on in the game if need be. I just think it's really hard to pick the Celtic team now.
Yeah.
Martin's looking at players that he can trust, and there's very few that he can trust. You can look at the game at the weekend and defended very well, the back four and the keeper. But then you look in the middle of the park and we just look lightweight, and there's Hatate's kind of come on to a game. There's a good shout as well. Could he maybe play in that position? I don't know. And Kalmak's position, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And that's one that's really puzzling me is a midfield. So it's going to be interesting if Engels is fit and if he does decide to go with him, or maybe give him another week. I don't know. See, the last thing you want to do is, if he's fit and available and you don't play him and you maybe don't get a result you're looking for, you're looking at it going, how did you know play him if he was available? You know, if you're looking ahead to maybe keep him for the next game to give him a wee bit more recovery time. So I think it's a difficult one.
Yeah, so before we get in and start talking about Motherwell tomorrow as well, what I've got for these guys is a wee palate cleanser, and hopefully I can fucking give my voice a wee bit of rest here. Is what I've got for you is one of my certainly favourite segments that we've got here. So I will be asking you 5 players I've got for you now. The question I will be asking you is,
who the f is that guy? Who the f is that? You know damn well who I am. Who the f is that?
Who the fuck is that guy? So I have 5 players. And again, guys, put your comments off, Kevin and Andy. Everybody in the community, please play along with us. It will be 5 minutes and we'll get this out the way as well. But it's just giving us that wee palate cleanser before we get in and talk about what's going to be coming up against us tomorrow. So, Kevin, we're waiting for Kevin to come back in here. We have 5 players, and these 5 players have both Celtic and Motherwell in their resume. First player I'm going to give these gentlemen is this guy. You have 10 seconds to see this guy, and then I want to know who the fuck it is. Who the fuck is that guy? Gentlemen, do we have a player?
Tommy Coyne.
Kevin goes for Coyne. Andy?
I'm the same, mate. Coyne.
Cobra Coyne. Gentlemen, the first player on tonight's Who the Fuck Is That Guy is Andy Walker.
Andy Walker.
Oh.
Fucking wee rat.
Andy Walker.
Potato.
From Motherwell to Celtic as well. Let me just see how we've got with the comments in there as well. So we've got, again, a lot of people saying Faulkner, Lambert, Walker, Phil O'Donnell, McClare, Andy.
So they're same as the rest of us. They're just picking guys that played with Celtic and Motherwell and hoping they're right.
So
I'm sure that wasn't it the top in 1987 when McClare left.
No.
Right, gentlemen, your number 2 player for this evening is this guy. Who the fuck is this guy?
Fuck. Dear me. Oh.
Gentlemen, Kevin, who the fuck is that guy?
Scott McDonald.
Andy?
Aye, McDonald, wee Skippy.
I'm glad our Paul isn't here as well, because indeed it is Skippy. It is Scott McDonald as well. So Andy would have had a bit of Paul would have had a wee bit of word to say with me.
Aye, just a wee bit.
Bringing him in there as well. So well done, gents. And again, there is some comments thereabouts as well that is saying that it is going to be Skippy. Yeah, Paul's favourite player. Yeah, there it is. Paul's favourite player. Paul's favourite Paul, Aussie. There you are. Right, so number 3, gentlemen, your player number 3 for this evening is this guy.
I wish I could. I need to go full screen with this, mate, because my eyes are terrible. Two 2003.
Oh shit!
Oh!
Doesn't
matter, mate. Doesn't matter.
Kevin, who is that player?
I had Stephen Pearson.
Pearson and Andy, I think I gave you that one.
So did I.
Sorry, that was me.
I never seen that.
That was your
Busy writing.
That was your Piro.
Did you not play in the same team as Sam Hoggy?
I mean, Barry played with Piro as well. We were boys, aye.
Did Big Nicky as well play in that team?
Aye, Nicky and Barry. Well, I was the year above them, so I played with Piro when probably a year or two before them. But aye, we've all played with Piro. Good laddie. Good laddies, Piro.
What's he
player
doing now?
number
Is he
4,
still down south?
he's an agent. He's a football agent.
Aye.
He's still based in South, mind you, but yeah, he's an agent. Player number 4, guys, is this fella. Who the fuck is that guy?
Okay. Okay.
Ha.
Kevin, who is that guy?
Wally Faulkner.
Falconer. Andy?
Is that a Willie Faulkner tap? I don't think that's Willie Faulkner. I don't know who it is, but I don't think it's Faulkner.
You'll kick yourself.
Lambert, innit? Is it Lambert?
Let's see it again, Harvey.
I've taken your answers there, gentlemen.
That's all right. I'm not worried
that one
about
is Paul Lambert.
That's Lambert.
Oh, Lambert.
Aye. I never had that written down anyway, Hoagie. It was just a kind of late guess.
It's a guess right enough. And your last player for this evening's Who the Fuck Is That Guy, before we start talking Motherwell, is this guy. Who the fuck is that guy?
Number 2. Oh. Go with that. That's an easy one, I think.
Andy, who is that guy?
Tom Boyd.
Tom Boyd.
Kevin?
Jesus Christ. Tom Boyd.
Indeed, gentlemen, it was Tom Boyd. I did try and make them a wee bit more straightforward, but when you actually look at players that played for Celtic and Motherwell, there's not a lot of ones that could actually trip you up there. I was thinking about Slaney, putting Slaney in there.
That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. That doesn't count. So, Kevin, we've got a kind of difficult game tomorrow. Motherwell are a team as well who will run the legs off you. What's your thoughts leading into tomorrow's game, brother?
Don't know. It's a Celtic. It's a Celtic type untype season, isn't it? You don't know what you're going to get tomorrow. I'm just hoping. I'm hoping in my heart of hearts that after that 11 days and 4 games away from home, and how we've come through that with injuries that we've had.
Yeah.
That never mind the manager, never mind the coaches, never mind the fans. These players should be just sitting down and having a wee look in the mirror and telling themselves that they're good enough. And giving themselves a wee lift and getting out there and getting the job done, because they've proved that they're good enough. Because even sometimes when it's not been pretty, they've dug in, like last week, and got a result. It was a bit backs to the wall at times in Stuttgart, and they stood up to a man. The first half they should have been shot for in the league game at Ibrox, obviously, but the second half they certainly redeemed themselves and got that point. And then they had a tough trip up to Aberdeen, where they had spells in and out through the course of the game. So you're hoping that they can maybe just take a bit of confidence for all that now, and that they've got that mindset and that mentality that they are good enough and that they can press on and try and up the ante a wee bit with the performances. I'm also hoping that the end of the midweek fixture will sort of help them a wee bit as well with any wee niggles that people's had that they've not had to play a game during the week, and they can have a wee bit more chill out time in the gym and get the sort of a thing seen as well, know what I mean, and stand them in good stead in that respect, and that we can sort of start producing some performances now at the business end of the season where it starts to count, because at the end of the day, every game is a cup final. You know what I mean? We need to win every game. There's no margin for error. Every game is a cup final, and we need to win them. But that's easier said than done, because you're playing a team tomorrow that's got one of the best defensive records in the league and has played, without a doubt, the best football in the league by a country mile. So they're going to have to work for anything that we get, but we should still be more than good enough and more than capable of going out there and doing that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you're going to need a bit of pace about your team tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because they're going to move the ball a bit quick. So if we've got a wee pace, then hopefully we should pick up on that and pick them off, hopefully, because they'll come and have a go. So it should be quite an open game.
Yeah. It should be. I've got the infiltrator stand. That was me just getting to him there, mate. I'm a few minutes behind seeing some of those comments that was coming in there.
Get off here, fucking hun bastard, Jay.
Yes. I think we've said it before, and Kevin, you're right. Celtic, they have proven that they've got that kind of animal in them as well, that they don't know when they're beaten. They've got that kind of fight and dig in them. But you're playing against a team tomorrow as well that's going to test, I think, Andy, more than your ability to be resilient. Kevin's rightly saying there as well. Best defensive, or one of the best defensive records about there, and they're very dangerous with their wings and the wee laddie up front. What do you think it takes Celtic to actually? And I'm not saying win them all as well, because we're all sitting here saying first and foremost as well, 3 points is all that matters. But you want to start seeing Celtic actually put that hammer down now and say, actually, you know what? You're coming to your fucking house tomorrow. You're coming to your place. What does Celtic need today for you tomorrow to actually give you that kind of confidence in the run-in? Remember we spoke about it, and I said as well that we're just one wee spark away from actually getting that run to the end of the season. And whether it's going to be unbeaten, I don't think it will be, mind you. But this is the first taste of that tomorrow as well. You've got Motherwell, who bubble could be burst with the team with their defeat last week. But what for you will it take for Celtic to actually get the win tomorrow and put that kind of statement out there?
Score more goals than him. Really, that's all we can look at, because I don't think we're getting the ultimate performance this season. I really don't. So I think it's going to be a case of I'm going to go for a 1-0 win for Celtic. I'll go for a Scales header for a corner or a floated ball for a free kick. That's what I'm going to go for. I think it's going to be very tight. It's going to be very difficult. But they're no unbeatable. Dundee have showed that, you know. So maybe we should look at what Dundee done and try that to defeat them. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out, you know, and play against us. They'll be very wary of us as well, that we have got that mentality that we're just going to win the game, you know. So it might not be pretty, but I'm still confident that Celtic are going to win the game at home, even though it is going to be a very difficult game. But they're no unbeatable, and we seem to find a way to win. So I'll go for a 1-0 win for Celtic.
I think it'll be an interesting game. I think it'll be a good game of football. I think they'll bring it a wee bit at Celtic, but there's that bit in me that you know my way as well about kind of, you know, let's not hope for too much, don't expect too much as well. Prepare for the worst and everything's gravy after that. But there's always that bit in me as well that's just waiting for Celtic to fucking tick and explode. And I think this might be the time tomorrow for it. I think this might be the opportunity that Celtic are needing as well, to actually have somebody that's going to come and play football against you. Because generally at Celtic Park, you get teams that come and kind of park the ball and try and hit you in the break there. But this might be the opportunity as well that Celtic need for it. But for
that to happen, we need the whole team to perform, and we've just not seen that this season. That's been a problem. You've had the performers in parts of the field and having good games, and then other ones haven't kind of followed them, and so that's what makes me think we're not going to get the ultimate performance this season. I just don't think it's in us. I think it's too late in the game to really expect that, and I agree with you. I've got that feeling that ultimately you want them to put in a sparkling performance, but I'm really not convinced that that's going to be the case.
Either way, again, I think we're all kind of saying here that whatever team goes out there, that as long as they come away with the 3 points, that's what we're after. I'm dying a death here as well, so I'm not going to keep his on for too much longer. But if we're talking, Kevin, what team do you think that Martin puts out tomorrow to play against Motherwell?
I would be putting out Sinisalo, Arero and KT, Arthur and Scales. I would have the Ox sitting where McGregor is, and I would have Hatate and Negrin in front of them in the middle. And because I do think it's been an open game and it's going to be pacey, I would have Taneke on one side and Maeda on the other side, and Finchara through the middle.
Yeah.
And a 2-1 Celtic victory.
2-1 Celtic victory. What about yourself, Andy?
I'm going to go with Sinisalo. Raffle, Arthur, Scales, Sarachi. I'm going to go with it. Ox, Hatate, Nigrin, Yang, Maeda, and Big Tam.
I'll not argue too much with that, guys. That's some good teams they've got.
Yang before Kaneki.
Aye.
I
I think he might be more effective coming off the bench.
Yep. The impact, isn't it? It's the impact of him as well. He might have actually played himself in to be the super sub because his impact off the bench is much better than his starting impact on there.
Yeah.
But
I know you've went with Sarachi, and I like with Sarachi, but I just think that that KT's just as time's going on and more games are going on, he's just getting better and better and better.
Do you know what, Kev? I'd love to see Sarachi and KT on the park at the same time.
Sarachi in front of him, I said that
last
week.
Yep.
Aye.
Yep. And even when Araujo with Donovan, you could switch it up that way as well, you know.
I'd have Donovan playing beside Anthony Ralston doing it fucking Barrafield.
You never know, lads. You never know. Guys, again, I apologize. It's going to be a short one tonight as well. But is there anything you two want to bring up before we say good night and goodbye to the community for the weekend?
No, just a big thank you, obviously, for everybody that's contributed to the whole raffle thing and all that. So, when is that? The 20th that draw takes place on the pod?
It's the 20th, yes. 7:30 next Friday on the Celtic Supporters Podcast. So, yes, we've again... You know that there was £500. I'd put the target out first of all as well.
Yep.
But we went Big Frankie and the Notre Dame Celtic supporters bus have done for us there is fucking outstanding as well. So
I seen it on the chat today, Hoggy. The money was rolling in on the chat today.
Oh, it's
Frankie,
amazing, buddy.
So it was. So
amazing.
It's looking good. It's looking good. You know what I mean? And it's a worthwhile cause that Chrissy's house. You know what I mean? Especially the people we've known. And it's not just about us. Don't mean that, but the people that we've known myself in this area over the last 10 years or so, it's been quite heartbreaking and soul-destroying for a lot of families and a lot of people close to some of the boys in the squad. So it's nice to be able to do a wee something back like that as well, too.
So, guys, Monday show, I'll go through much more on Monday show as well, hopefully feeling a bit better. We'll go through all the prizes and I'll show you all the prizes that I managed to get in there as well. As I say, it's been humbling the kindness that we've actually had our people that's willing to put their hand in their pocket to buy some tickets in the first place. But also, obviously, for the people that's donated to some of these prizes, outstanding, fucking well played, every single one of these. We'll be back in Monday night as well, and we'll go for that, and we'll set it up a wee bit more. That next Friday is going to be an absolute fucking stoter. Absolute stoter, guys. If you do want to take part, thank you very much, Rich. Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. If you do want to take part, remember, just send a wee email into CSP or CSP Podcast 2025 at gmail.com. I'll send you the details of what to do with regards to the money. And then when you're paid, I'll send you a photograph of your tickets. And you can keep an eye on the draw next week. Obviously, all them with everybody's names on it anyway, so I'll know who it is. But it's going to be a good one next week, gentlemen. It's going to be an absolute belter next week. So
you hitting again tomorrow, Hoggy?
By the good grace of the big man upstairs, if I see you through the night and we're feeling good tomorrow, I will be there, mate. I'm not making any promises as well because even at work today, I was working from home. But honestly, I was sitting here as well with 2 T-shirts on, a hoodie, and like a big kind of bubble jacket on in my tummy. I was fucking freezing all day. Freezing all day. And it's now I'm getting in between that way of freezing and that way kind of warm, sweaty way as well. So I'm not want to be hanging
I'm going to have
a
a night tomorrow. I'm going to have a night tomorrow in the number 10 hotel in Queen's Park. It's Big Andy Milne who does the More Than 90 Minutes fanzine. He does his annual dinner in there every year. Been to it for about 4 or 5 years now. He always does it for a couple of charities. The Kano Halls had been one of the years there, so it was. And he was awfully friendly with the Holy Goal, the 12th line, Big John Fallon, who sadly passed away last year.
Yep.
And so it's Big Andy's night tomorrow in the number 10. So we're going to
nice place that, Kev, isn't it? I know a lot of the Irish crowd stay there one night. Aye, but I've been in there. I think my mate, it was his wedding reception in there. I think it was. It was a nice place.
I see. I've been to it 4 or 5 times. That dinner at Big Andy's. So we've got a table tomorrow night. Me and some of the other folk that I know I used to know Sue Kane on that. We're going to that tomorrow night. And he's doing his fundraising tomorrow night for the 12 Line project. Big John, God rest him, before he passed, had a project running for about 3 or 4 years now to build a school in Sedan for the children out there to get them educated. So that's where all the funds of that are going to tomorrow night. And he's got Paul Sheridan for the Wakes playing. Paul plays it every year. And there's always a player comes and does a wee talk in a Q&A in tomorrow night. It's Mr. Simon Donnelly, so looking forward to that tomorrow night and raising some funds for the 12 Line project in Big John's memory. So
good, mate. We'll catch up with you next week and how that went, buddy. We'll catch up with you as well. But listen, I'm going to call it there as well. Obviously today, I'm not sure, maybe everybody will know as well, but 20 years since Jinky Johnson passed and left us as well. So we'll leave his on a kind of sign, a happy note there as well of Jimmy Johnson and the greatest ever Celtic player. But gentlemen, thank you very much for your time again. Sorry it couldn't be longer. Andy, thank you very much for making up the road in time for this. Kevin, thank you very much for your time again, guys. Thank you, every single person in the community, and thank you for the bottom of all of our hearts for all your part you've played in the raffle so far. Bear in mind, there is still a week to go. So please, if you've not already and can take part, please do take part. Give us a wee email in as well and we'll sort you out how to get hold of some tickets. But as always, guys, stay safe, stay blessed, stay Celtic, stay CSP. We'll be back on Monday. Let's go fucking beat Motherwell. It is only Motherwell after all. We're at home. Let's go Celtic. CSP is out here.